Put your face on, so no one knows where you're from. Put your face on, so no one knows where you're from. Hot sweats, hot breath, hot steps. Can't wait till it's done. Myself, no sweat. Can I see you again? 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 Put your face on, so no one knows where you're from. Put your face on, so no one knows where you're from. Hot sweats, hot breath, hot steps. Can't wait till it's done. Myself, no sweat. Can I see you again? 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 It's better than me, and I got you in the sea of pharmacy. And it's better than me, and I got you in the sea of pharmacy. And it's better than me, and I got you in the sea of pharmacy. And it's better than me.
Well, good morning. I guess it's still morning. Still technically morning here. Hope everyone's well. I am Cryptameria. I'm an artist in beautiful Victoria, BC. Just ignore the tent cities. Just, you know. And yeah. Crypta here. Sorry, blonde moment. I was trying to get set up. I kind of left the blog yesterday. And once again, Michael Barrett and Anita Nid, who is just, oh God, she's dumb. No, what she did to the military when she was in charge, she pretty much tanked it. Well done. Like, I don't know. Like, wow. Like, I mean, people talk about Russian plants or, like, wow, we didn't need a bomb drop to ruin our army. We just needed Anita.
Minutes, please. Top arrive scam contractor, GC Strategies owner Christian Firth had his
And I
home
know
raided
we've
by the
all
Royal
seen
Canadian
this
Mounted
one
Police 2
before,
days ago
but
as part of the Mounties investigation to
he's so
his
good.
work with the Trudeau government. Christian Firth is well documented as part of the more than dozen investigations into his role with government contracting for fraud, forgery. He has a track record of meeting some of the most senior public servants
Yeah.
at bars and steakhouses. Minister, do you think that's normal?
No.
I was not here at that time as president of the Treasury Board. However, I would expect that rules would be followed at every instance. Because I was not here, I am not certain if the rules were followed, and I will ask my colleague to respond.
So the minister, it's a question of judgment. The question is, do you think Canadians find it acceptable that millionaire consultants are discussing government contracts
Right.
with
Just
senior
checking
officials, many who
checking
control these
messages,
contracts,
waiting to
and are
hear
chatting
about a
over
job.
whiskey
So
and steak about getting paid with taxpayer money? Do you think Canadians find that acceptable?
I do not know exactly what occurred, but I don't find it acceptable to violate any rule or principle. There's an importance of letting the RCMP do their work. I am not, as a minister of the Crown, going to interfere in the investigation of an independent organization. And I think it is important that we let that investigation continue. And then, as the Minister of Public Safety has said, we look forward to following the recommendations of the RCMP. Thank you.
Minister, do you know what the TBS employees discussed at these outings at steakhouses and bars with the
yeah,
millionaire
like this
consultants?
is
Mr. Paul Gerard, Savak
it's like the good old
Ashbashian,
boys
Gary
club
Holman.
for business,
These
right?
are directors, the former chief information officer, senior advisors. Do you know what they discussed?
So if you don't mind, I'll take the question, Minister. As I
Ms.
mentioned,
Cahill, the question is does the minister know? So unless your answer is if the minister knows or not, I'd like to hear from the minister, please.
I do not know. I was not the president of the Treasury Board at the time.
Well, Minister, I'm glad that you find it funny, but this is a $60 million scandal. We have the RCMP kicking doors in because there is fraud and corruption and
It's one more message I need
people
to
who
send.
work in your department. And so just because they shuffle the deck chairs on the Titanic every couple of months, you're still responsible for the department. And so if your suggestion is that we need the former president of the Treasury Board to come and tell us what's going on in your department, then I'd appreciate that as a suggestion. But it is incumbent on you, when there's a matter of great public interest like this, to at least show an interest and concern for what's going on. My question to you, on what date was Min Doan hired as the Chief Information Officer?
It is not my purview, Mr. Chair, in response to that allegation that I find this funny or that I in some way do not care about this issue. It is not my purview to oversee the day-to-day work of employees.
No one's in charge, Minister, over there. No one's in charge.
As the president of the Treasury Board, will continue to ensure that we promulgate guidelines and policies for public servants to follow. It is the responsibility of deputy heads, including the deputy head of the CBSA, to ensure that rules are followed. In terms of the individual that the honorable colleague just mentioned, I will ask the CIO to respond.
Just the date, please, sir.
I believe it was May 2023. I can't give you the specific date, but I can get that to you in writing, no problem.
Was it a competitive process?
As far as I understand, he came over at level.
So it wasn't a competitive process. Who was in charge of that decision, that hiring?
It would have been my predecessor, Catherine Llewellyn.
Catherine Llewellyn. And who was in the position before him?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Paul Gerard?
Nope.
No, Mr. Girard, if I may, Mr. Chair, was reporting directly directly to me, and Mr. Girard was the CIO for the Treasury Board Secretariat as a department.
So who was in the role before Mindone was hired is the question.
Sam, do you know?
It was Mark Brouillard.
Mark Brouillard. It's interesting that we have successive chief information officers who favor GC strategies, one who provides testimonials for the website and one who is willing to lie before committee to hide his favoritism for GC strategies. The question is, who else at the Treasury Board Secretariat are GC strategies fanboys?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, well, that one, we all saw what happened. Like, it's just how are we even going to get that money back? And what, like, yeah, let's just give the government, put it back so they can launder it again. You know, why not just, I would absolutely love, like, say 60 million that was stolen from us. Why not give every Canadian $1 million in their bank accounts? Everyone. So people who are working would, you know, there's some people it wouldn't really change their lives. Other people, it would change their lives. And some people it would, they'd probably be broke in a week or, you know. But you know, that's how it feels. Like all these contracts, and over the course of Trudeau's reign as supreme leader, GC contracts, it has gotten an like the accountant general doesn't even know the full title because their accounting is such a mess. And 250 million. So that's like, you know, all of that was waste that, you know, could have been, and said, no, let's just make the debt bigger. So all these little boy, you know, they can have their steak night boys club fun. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. Canada's just pretty corrupt these days. And this one, I know it's a random one. If you know my blog, I sometimes pull up.
In this little vial is a chemical called 2-nonanal,
ones.
and according to what I've read online, it's supposed to smell like old people. This is because, apparently, as we age, we start letting off different chemicals and smells, and this 2-nonanal is allegedly one of the major ones. I've always found it hard to believe, though, that this could actually smell like old people, and I've decided to finally test it out. Kind of just smells like cucumbers. Do old people smell like cucumbers?
Well, I guess he doesn't have any, like, I worked in a senior slum, so I wouldn't quite say it's cucumber. This one, though.
So I'm here at Harry's Coin Shop, and we're taking a look at these red quarters. You see these from time to time in junk silver. Why are they red? What's the point?
Those coins are considered house coins. Back when there were jukeboxes, 3 plays for a quarter or 10 cents a play, a bar owner or a restaurant owner typically did not own the jukebox. Some company placed it there, and the company then would, pick up the quarters once a week or periodically that people put into play. If there was no music playing, if no customer had put money in, oftentimes the owner would put in his or her own money so that there would be music in the restaurant, but they wanted their quarter back. So they would paint their coins red so that when the owner of the machine would come pick up the rest of the change, they would know to leave what's called the house coin, because that's when the owner played the machine.
And it's similar to laundromats. Like, they'll have, well, here it's like toonies or loonies or quarters. So they'll have like the painted ones for So they, at the end of the day, they can just collect them, and then they know how much is they took in during the day. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't know. It just makes the whole process easier. Wow.
Well, North Carolina's ABC Commission fined a nightclub near Plaza Midwood. Officials say a sex act was recorded inside. Hayes Bar and Lounge on Central Avenue was
Naughty.
fined $1,000. According to the incident report, last December, someone posted a video on Instagram showing a sex act on a couch inside the club. The report says a club employee admitted it happened to law enforcement.
No. Well, I hope they cleaned it. You know, it's like dirty, dirty.
50-year-olds, y'all better catch yourselves. Y'all better watch how you do things because you find yourself getting in a comfortable position at a certain age. Okay, so let me tell y'all what I was doing. I was walking, right? I was walking, just taking a walk around the neighborhood. So here I am walking in my comfortable position, just like this. And so happened, I was walking by a
I've had
department
these
store while I
moments.
was walking.
It's like
And
getting
I
old.
caught myself in the window. I so happened to look over, and I was like this.
I know,
Right
sometimes it's like, yeah, who is that? Oh shit, it's me.
I looked, I caught myself. I said, Tina. I said, girl, if you don't straighten yourself up, that ain't how you walk. I'm talking about I was over
I
like
know,
this walking.
I've done that, like, especially like, and then you look in the window.
I straightened myself up like this.
Like,
And I said, girl, get yourself straightened up.
I know.
Straighten yourself up. I'm
Look
serious.
yourself
Just
up.
that quick. Just that quick. You better catch yourself. I'm telling you because
Mm-hmm.
some things start setting in
Hello,
at a certain
Toe.
age, and you thinking that you feeling comfortable doing it.
See you. Yeah, I know. This goes for guys as well.
You better walk. You better straighten yourself up. You better tell yourself. You better be your biggest fan. You better be your person that keep yourself accountable. Because guess what? This is how you're supposed to be walking. I've been walking like this all my life, honey. With my head up, my back straight, my chest out. This is how I've been walking. But this is what I'm comfortable in doing.
I know. Especially after work, I'm
You
like,
see that?
it's like, yeah.
The devil is a liar. He surely.
I liked her. She's very cute. It's just, well, you know, you gotta make fun of yourself sometimes. And yeah, radio reaction. Like, you know, so when everyone's bitching about Diagolon, boom. Yeah, I need to do my nails. Yeah. 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 Yeah, they actually, when Zelensky came, I'm sure most Canadians know, they also invited a SS officer. Yeah, they invited an SS officer to the House of Commons. Yeah, that's really great because, you know, it's really nice, the Canadian education system, when people in the House of Commons realize which side Ukrainian was on in World War II. Yeah. And he wasn't just a regular Nazi. He, like, if you were part of the SS, you were not just a grunt or, you know, sucked into the army, whatever, you had no choice. No, if you were an SS officer, you got there because you really showed enthusiasm for the cause. And the gentleman, I forget his name, but it's out there, you know. He's had an extradition warrant for him to Poland for war crimes. Well, we caught him. He was standing right next to all the brass in the military. They're all like clapping like seals, like, yay, yay. Oh, it's so great we got a veteran in here. Like it was such a fucking stage thing. And now today I don't even know if I want to share that one. One member, oh yeah, let's like give some more support to Ukraine. I'm sorry. How about give some more support to Canadians? Like, it's not, no matter how much we do, it's not going to help. All it's doing is making Zelensky rich. I wish, people at the beginning of this conflict, I think they just hated Russia so much. They're like, yeah, go root Ukraine, and now, what is it, 2 years into the war? People are like, where's the billions? Armory, donated armory has been traced in, like, places like Libya and Iran and, places that maybe you don't want all these toys, but they were supposed to, when they find them, they can tell by the serial number, oh, hey, these came from Canada. We like helping. And that one's been removed. Well. More than 20 sexual predators are jailed for a total of 346 years after 8 young girls were raped, abused, and trafficked in the West Yorkshire. But diversity is our strength, remember? 500 plus legals arrived yesterday. And God knows that was a few days ago. God knows what the amount is now. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dave. Welcome back. I want to thank everybody who's showing the love and support for the channel. Appreciate it, guys. And if you can share out this video, it really does help out the channel. Thanks. Budget tomorrow. Apparently, there's more taxes coming for Canadians. Times are going to get harder, as if they aren't hard enough already.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been searching around the net. I've been in a few sites that seem to be liberal or NDP. I think that these people are retarded. I'm going to say it as it is. I talk to these people and say, how can you justify certain things? And I bring them up. And there is this blind following. It's like they don't see anything but liberal or NDP. And I'm going, you guys are idiots. Like, I can't believe that in Canada's economy, in this world today, that there's people that can actually follow the Liberals or NDP, that have blind faith that they're doing the right thing. Like, these people have to be retards. And I don't care if people don't like the word. It's a word. Grow a pair, toughen up. It's the internet. So, we have a budget coming down tomorrow, and I don't think it's going to be a nice one. I really don't. The government is spending beyond belief.
Yeah.
It is a wrecking ball government that is destroying this country. And Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh know they're not going to get in again. So they are doing everything, it seems, to spend all of Canada's money and put us in the hole. I just spent 2 hours talking to my buddy there a little while ago. He's feeling the pinch just like every other Canadian is. He's a friggin' business owner, and he's going, the government is just pounding me.
Yeah.
Guys, if these people around you are liberal followers or liberal lovers, NDP followers or lovers, wake them up. You gotta wake them up. You gotta say, listen, don't be a stupid liberal or a stupid NDP. Look at what's going on around you. I've even heard them blaming the eclipse on the environment. Climate change is causing the eclipse. I'm going, are you stupid?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a little rant. Get prepared for tomorrow, guys. Guys, take care. Please be safe.
Yeah, that's Two Average Dudes. Definitely like and subscribe to them. And yeah, all my links are on my blog, bluecryptameria.gold. .gold is a real domain. They do not pay me to say it. I just really appreciate being on their platform. I will be separating my website soon, so it's like the store side and then the blog side. It's just, I will get around to it. It shouldn't be too hard. It's like, I mean, it took me 60 hours to set up the site originally. So I think that's why I've been like, I don't want to redesign it. But I think if I just do like a little bit, and I need to do it anyways, because the template I chose, WordPress, decommissioned it. And oh God, yeah, that year was fun. It's like, because I spent 60 hours setting all this up, and then they're like, oh, that template won't work. You need to upgrade. And the whole site, everything I made just. So I keep thinking, well, if it's running, if it just runs, that's a good thing. Although there is a glitch in the store part, which is also why I want to transfer it over. It just seems like one thing after another. A 4-year-old girl was discharged from Texas Children's Hospital after waiting on the organ transplant waitlist for 1,025 days, or nearly 3 years. I like my new heart, Actura said ahead of her discharge, adding that she looked forward to seeing the ducks and the turtles in the local park. Which is sweet. That's her biggest dream, after. Poor little kid. Yeah.
About a dozen cars paraded the streets of Richmond today, decorated in purple. It's the color representing overdose prevention.
Drug users don't always look like the vision people have of them. My son was a businessman. He had a job. He
Okay. Oh God, am I getting a copyright strike? Let's not get a copyright strike. I hate copyright strikes. Let me just check. If it glitches or something, I'm just like, are you being buggy? Let's just try this again. No?
About a dozen cars paraded the streets of Richmond today, decorated in purple. It's the color representing overdose prevention.
Drug users don't always look like the vision people have of them. My son was a businessman. He had a job. He struggled with mental illness and addiction.
Debbie Tablotny says her son Curtis died of a toxic drug overdose in 2022.
My brother died playing PlayStation in his bedroom. He went to work that day. He went home. He did drugs, and he died.
Curtis's family organized the car rally to bring awareness to the stigma that drug users face and to advocate for more government support, including mental health resources and safe supply.
Now, see, that's the thing.
Where
Narcan kits are good, but this new Trank variety, Narcan doesn't work because they're tranquilizers, not an opiate. So they I'm seeing what's in other places, and then I see what's going on downtown. We need to end it. There's supposed to be a special parliamentary, we are trying to get a special, day in the House of Commons to actually discuss this, because people in BC are fed up. We're fed up with the needles and playgrounds. Oh, well, now they don't have their legal right to do it anywhere. Is that going to stop them? No, they already opened up that gate. You think these people care? And I'm sure we've all had like, the little tall can at the beach or, but if you're keeping it discreet, nobody really cares. But if you are like smoking fentanyl, you are in a danger to anyone around. And do you want that on your playgrounds, in your hospitals? Because that's what's happening. That is what the government thinks. Like Eby, he's the one who really pushed for this safe supply. Same with Trudeau. I'm like, this has failed. There is no harm reduction. It is called enabling. Can we all say that word together? Enabling. Yeah, like what? You give people free drugs, you think they're going to want to quit? No. It's one of the worst things that has come. Like
to the services
Dixon
were.
Bonnie
I would sit on the internet
no
and
clue.
research, and I could not find ways to help him. And when I did, he was turned down.
In February, Richmond City Council resolved to ask health authorities to look into the possibility of a supervised drug consumption site at the city's hospital. But after hundreds protested the proposal at City Hall, the city announced it would not move
It's a
forward.
fucking
It's a
hospital.
tragedy in our community.
No.
It's not just the people who are passing away, it's
Like-
the family and friends and coworkers, their neighbors.
Yeah.
In the last 8 years, more than 14,000 British Columbians have lost their lives to illicit
Wow.
toxic drugs. And the deaths escalated in 2023 with an average of almost 7 deaths per day, up from 6.2 per day in 2022.
But we were
it's the
worried
leading cause
about
of
a
death for people
pandemic,
between the ages
right?
of 10 and 59.
The reason we're here is because people are hiding in their bedrooms, and you don't know how many people are actually using and who's going to die tomorrow. It's 7 people in BC. It's 7.
The Toblotny family rode in Curtis's old car today, which they have since refurbished.
My son always says, my oldest son, he loves driving it because that's his voice. The car motor is his voice. And he revs the engine and said, this is my brother's voice.
Be nice to each other.
Michelle Gomez, CBC News, Richmond.
Like 7 people a day. That's, that's because Dr. Bonnie said, oh, well, we don't have the resources to set up treatment or have treatment for that or long-term treatment, because you actually do need, meanwhile in Alberta, 24/7, you can show up and get treatment for a year. And the success rate is so overwhelming that other countries are looking, they even call it the Alberta model. That's how successful it has been to get people back off drugs and back into society. Meanwhile, this is scary, Yeah. Yeah, sorry for the lag. It happens. It's a rainy day. So, I mean, it's not as bad as it has been. It's not as bad as it has been. Like some days it's like it won't even, it's like, come on, Betsy, come on. It's like trying to like pull on that rusty like lawnmower, like, come on, you're gonna do it. No, you're not gonna do it. But no. Oh, shit. There are a few times I'll like try and start one and I can't even get through the test, When the pressure mounts, they come up with these fantasy stories or come out as gay. It's better to keep these NPCs on their side. Bomb scare at McKenty home. So, Justice Minister's husband and children had to be evacuated. But it is Ireland. Okay, forget this one, but it's a short.
You're telling me for over 40 years I should have been cleaning my sink drains? Ain't no way. I know this is a weird angle, but to see my sink, I have to put my camera like this, so I'm sorry. I have never once cleaned this drain, but apparently all-purpose white vinegar and baking soda you're supposed to put in here. Let's try it. Some baking soda. There's probably an amount, but I just put a lot in there. Vinegar. Wow. I don't know if that cleaned it, but it did some. Wow.
Yeah, so, but also the lag helps with the avoidance of the copyright strikes. We want to always avoid the copyright strikes. It doesn't ever happen.
How are you, lads? What can I do for you today? 2 ICBs, please. We want some real Irish culture. ICB? ICB. Do you mean an IPA? Because I got loads of them in the back. I can get you a few of those. Seriously, how can they call this an Irish bar if they don't know what an Irish car bomb is? You can't be serious. Come on, little lady. Time is money. Maybe we can talk to a real barmaid. Well, I can't do you one of those, but I can do you an 911 or a Colomine shooter. Excuse me? How dare
I love her makeup. Like, I actually love colors and how some of it, but when it's so, it's everywhere, you know? It used to be kind of so you stand out, and now it's like everywhere. So I don't feel like you do stand out. But some people, they look really good in it, and other people, you're like, why would you do that? You might want therapy, especially with all the politics on with the rainbow cult.
Let's have a look at this report that seems to
Yeah,
suggest
other
that
people have been
Lunchables,
pulling
which
this
is,
up.
a
Like,
product directly
I just like
created
stuff like
for
that used to
kids,
be special.
has got lead in it.
Consumer Reports is asking school cafeterias all across this country to stop giving students Lunchables. Those are packaged food items that generally are really popular with kids, but the watchdog group says it tested them and found that some Lunchables contain potentially dangerous levels of harmful contaminants. Nancy Chen has been looking into this for us. Nancy, good morning.
Nancy, is it true that Lunchables contain lead? Nancy, yes, it is true. We're poisoning children now. In fact, this is merely a more extreme example of something that is endemic and indeed normalized. To give children the amount of sodium and sugar that we do amounts to poisoning, but it's all a glorious circle of life. If you keep feeding kids shoddy, dreadful food, then you can, of course, heal them using equally shoddy and potentially ineffective medicines. And the circle of life or death continues. Well, thank you, Nancy. That was an unanticipated answer. Thanks for joining us.
EU Lunchables have really been a longtime staple in lunchboxes across the country, but Consumer Reports, an independent nonprofit group, issued a scathing assessment of the lunch kits, saying, quote, "We don't think anybody should regularly eat these products."
Great. You don't, it's food. That's not something you want to hear about. Food. Should it? All food should
for your
be
babies?
edible. That's the
Yeah,
minimum
you
requirement for
want
food.
happy
Is this food
babies.
edible? Well, I mean, you can put it in your mouth and break it down with your teeth and swallow it. So, yes.
This came after testing that allegedly found some store-bought versions contained high levels of
Well,
heavy
see,
metals, lead and cadmium.
I mean, hey, how much lead and everything was in products in the 1970s and 1980s? I mean, so far we've made it, or if you're watching me, you probably have. Maybe you're a ghost. I don't
Can
know.
cause developmental issues in children, even in small doses.
If you are,
The study
thank you
also
for
found
joining
concerning amounts
from
of
the,
sodium as
you
well as
know.
phthalates, chemicals used in plastic packaging that
Come on, man. This is getting out of control, isn't it? Poisoning children. Yeah, it's high levels of
Yeah.
sodium, phthalates, lead, cadmium. These are the type of stories that breach the surface are discernible, demonstrable,
Yeah.
and easily corroborated that make me more willing to listen to and
Yeah,
consider
moving.
more outlandish theories about, for example, I don't know, chemtrails or things in the water.
Just give me
I
a
mean,
second.
there is such sort of negligence, disregard, and occasionally malfeasance present in big food, big pharma, and the kind of systemic abuses that pass mass continually through our lives.
Might
That
just restart my blog.
how can you
Sometimes that'll
just
like
outright say, "Oh no, that's ridiculous"? Just seems at least worthy of contemplation
But
that
what?
this is
Yeah, it's actually all
systemic,
this
deliberate,
processed
if
food is
not just
getting
the
pretty
inert
bad.
practices of a careless system. Man, I don't know if I can even watch the rest of this. Let me try.
Are also known hormone disruptors. Last year, after changing some of the nutritional content, Lunchables were allowed into the National School Lunch Program for the first time, giving tens of millions of children access.
Someone lobbied to get it permitted to be in the school lunch program so that it could be some great catering company's deal to put Lunchables into school catering so they can buy it en masse and profit. Someone got lobbied, someone got biased, and no one at any point stopped. In a sensible and sane world that you can imagine, just on the periphery of your mind, you just go, don't make that product anymore. Do you know what we should do actually? Right, what we should do is we should feed children food that's either been grown or hunted or otherwise harnessed from the area that we're all living in. That might mean that there are less opportunities for profit. But let's focus all of our attention on localization. Let's for a minute stop regarding everything solely from a materialistic perspective. Lunchables is the pinnacle of the pyramid of commodity that we all lay sprawled upon, the base of your spine pierced, you spread-eagled and hopeless, pummeled by a system of deep, deep loathing. And the only way down from this crucifix, and maybe Jesus, maybe we should just stay on it, is to awaken immediately.
On a near daily basis. Now, Consumer Reports is calling on the Department of Agriculture to remove Lunchables from schools. In a statement, Kraft Heinz, which owns Lunchables, defended the product, saying it meets strict safety standards.
Got very strict safety standards, and they include cadmium and lead being edible for children. Also, occasionally, I mean, what do you ejaculate into that stuff? I mean, what if that passes the test? What is the test?
The company added that lead and cadmium occur naturally in the environment and could be present in low levels in food products. But this is a staple for so many families because they're so easy to pack.
Well, yeah, or in this case, it's taxpayers funding the lunches going to low-income kids.
Brilliant. There's a point where you have to just stand back and applaud. Taxpayers are participating in the poisoning of working class children. Amazing. It's actually costing you money. They've found a way to make poisoning children profitable, double profitable, because they'll profit when these kids grow up diabetic and full of heart disease. When they're obese at bare minimum, they've got a drug for that now. Christ help us. For God's sake, let us all become radicalized. I wonder if Kraft,
Like, what we are doing to, and it seems like so good on the surface, like, oh yeah, yay, this is a good thing. And I agree, we need these programs, but what we would benefit more as a society if we enabled people to be able to feed their own kids, you know, like that's
I spend any money on legacy media outlets. I wonder if sometimes between these shows you see Kraft going, hey, if you don't have time to feed your children food that doesn't have lead in it, how about some food that does have lead in it? The truth is that if you are a parent, and I am, sometimes you think, well, you know, maybe a little bit of lead will calm them down. The simple solution is change your economic and political and social model. Like, this is it. This is what I'll say to you. Wisdom is acting on knowledge.
Like a lot of I don't always agree with him because I did pull up one of him and Candace Owens today, and it was like, ooh, I remember that interview. They don't like each other. It's hilarious.
The day that you find out that Lunchables has lead in it, should be, we're banning that. We're never doing that again. Shut that shit down. What's the reason we're doing it? Oh, lobbying, donations, because craft advertising and legacy media. Oh, right. Well, God, let's break down all of those monopolies. Let's no longer permit that. Let's certainly not use taxpayer dollars to subsidize it. Let's, from now on, have democracy available at the smallest level of subsidiarity, that people control their own lives and their own communities. That way, if there are cultural, religious differences or differences of traditionalism versus progressivism, they'll be nullified and irrelevant, because in one state people can believe in this and in another state people can believe in something else. But what we should believe in every single state is don't poison your children just because it's profitable.
Consumer Reports saying it's hurting those kids.
Especially if you're a mom, Nancy, that's not making the sandwiches and putting them in the paper bag. Hello, my name is Gail.
That's
they
a
were
huge
very
benefit.
easy breezy. Yeah.
I ate all of them growing up.
Hope they can figure that out.
Lunchables says they're meeting the standards. The question is, are those standards sufficient?
Yes.
Very, very concerning. All right, Nancy, thank you.
Who sets the standards, and do the people that set those standards receive revenue from craft or other processed food organizations? I think you know the answer to all of those questions. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you will be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.
I'm just going to see if it clears up when I reload it. I pulled it up so I could remember where I was, but... oh. Sometimes it snaps back, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, it's doing it. So hopefully maybe this will load better. Just give it a second. If not, I might have to switch on. Well, I like him because he's done a lot of work, in recovery and sharing those stories. I don't always agree with him. I don't always agree with anyone I pull up 100%. I pull him up. I have an opinion, and then sometimes even my opinion will change. If you got new facts or new... Oh God, this is hilarious.
Bill Maher, one of the biggest liberal media hosts in America, just unloaded on Trudeau's Canada, and you have to see this.
And this
The
is
unemployment
Canada
rate
free?
in the U.S. is 3.8%, and in Canada it's 6.1%. And of the 15 North American cities with the worst air pollution, 14 are in Canada.
So for years, liberals in the United States cited Canada as a beacon of what an ideal America should look like. But some liberals, such as Bill Maher, are starting to notice that things up here might not be as ideal as they seem.
Canada was where all the treasured goals of liberalism worked perfectly. It was like NPR come to life.
And that's exactly how liberals felt. They would constantly cite things like our free healthcare or our generous social programs combined with an open immigration policy, or point out the fact that we have a lower crime rate, fewer guns, and a soft on crime justice system. But as people like Bill Maher are starting to notice, these policies just don't work out in the long run.
A giant idealized blue state with single-payer health care, gun control, and abortion on polite demand.
Case in point.
Canada was where every woke white college kid wearing pajama pants outdoors who'd had it up to here with America's racist patriarchy dreamt of living someday. I mean, besides Gaza.
Well, Mr. Maher, if you look up here, you'll see plenty of woke college kids who dream of living in Gaza too. And believe me, these people are just as chronically unhappy as their American counterparts. But Maher does get to the point.
There's only one problem with thinking everything's better in Canada. It's not. Not anymore, anyway.
And why does Maher say that?
Last year, Canada added 1.3 million people, which is a lot in 1 year, the equivalent of the U.S. adding 11 million migrants in 1 year. And now they're experiencing a housing crisis even worse than ours. And we're sleeping in tents.
Oh, trust me, Bill. People are sleeping in tents here too. In fact, it was the lefties in Vancouver who pioneered the concept of drug-filled tent cities. If you're used to Skid Row, just take a little trip down through Vancouver's East Hastings and you'll feel right at home.
The median price of a home here is $346,000. In Canada, converted to US dollars, it's $487,000.
Actually, even worse than this. If you look at home prices in America, not only will you notice that homes are cheaper, you will notice that the property sizes are much bigger as well. So just on a square foot basis, the housing crisis in Canada is actually worse than Bill Maher is making it out to be.
And because of mortgage debt, Canada has the highest debt to GDP ratio of any G7 nation. I don't know what that means, but it sounds bad.
It is bad.
It is bad. What that basically means is Canada has more debt relative to the amount of stuff that Canadians produce in a year than any other country in the G7. And our debt to GDP ratio is over 100%. That means if every single person, company, or government agency put 100% of their earnings for 1 year towards their debt, they would still be in debt.
So does their vaunted healthcare system.
It's so
which ranks
bad.
dead last among high-income countries in access to primary health care.
If you've been to the emergency room in British Columbia lately, not only will you be waiting longer than anyone in the developed world to see a doctor, you get to sit next to someone who's shooting up heroin while you wait. But don't worry, they're still covering surgeries, so you can have both sets of genitalia at once. Bill Maher already knows how far off the deep end Canada has gone with all of this stuff.
Like the saga of Canadian shop teacher Kayla Lemieux, whose pronouns are she, her, and those.
Yeah. Don't remind us.
Honestly, Canada, I'm not saying any of this because I enjoy it. I don't, because I've always enjoyed you.
I'll try this.
But I need to cite you as a cautionary tale to help my country.
And this is the sad state of Canada.